Ah, brother, I'm sure you are here to seek purpose. Yeah, I guess. I'm actually here because of an Assassin's Creed. You know anything about that? Yes. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Yeah, okay. We work in the dark to serve the light. Right, yeah. I was just You must also commit to 3 tenets. First, you must stay your blade from the blood of Bro, wait. I can't be committing to something that I don't even know about. First, you gotta tell me, why is Assassin's Creed so good? I'm so glad you asked. What's happening? The year was 2007. I was hanging out with my boys, I was still in high school. Life was sweet. But little did I know, it could get sweeter. I think it could get a little sweeter. There was one day where we went to a GameStop and they were handing out the little promo posters, and one of them was the Golden Compass game. I've never played it, nor do I want to, but the poster was pretty sweet. But most importantly, one of them was Assassin's Creed, a promotional poster of this new upcoming game, the very first one. And I looked at it and I saw it and I said, this looks so intriguing. I want to learn more about it. What's this all about? And I learned more and more about it, and I just really needed to play it. The gameplay trailers, everything about it looks so unique and fresh. And finally, I got to play it as my friend got it for me for my birthday. I got to play it so much, and this is one of those games where I was just so enthralled with the world around me and the story. I played Sick a lot in high school. Played 6 so that I could just play more Assassin's Creed, and it really stuck with me with the themes, the settings, the stories, and I would like to share a little bit of that with you as we talk about it in this video. Isn't that a little convenient? But before we get started, hi, my name is Adam, and if you're new here and you're a human being, well, maybe you should click that subscribe button so that you know when all these videos come out, as well as our weekly podcast. You know, we do videos like these just to explain a little bit about the video game industry, and our podcast is also a gaming industry podcast. So if you want to join our little community of human beings, you like these videos, why not click that subscribe button? You should do it if you're a human being, though, not a robot. So what makes this game so special? What makes Assassin's Creed so good? Well, there's 3 reasons what I really want to talk about, but you know, as I'm talking, write your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you like Assassin's Creed 1? Why did you like it? What was so specific about it that really intrigued you? Comment down below. What are your reasons that Assassin's Creed is so good? But let's continue in this video with my first reason. So when I'm talking about the setting of the game, I'm really talking about 3 different things. Really, I'm talking about the placement of the game, where it's set, sure, but also the history of the game. The placement and history that we don't really get to cover in most video games, and especially the ethnic culture that isn't really covered in other video games, that isn't really represented in video games, you know, in a justly manner. Justly? I don't know. Good job, Adam. But really, this is the first time in my current memory that we get to visit locations like Jerusalem, Damascus, Acre, Masyaf, right? Masyaf being the main hub area. But this is the first time we're seeing these holy lands that isn't like a Christian game setting. And I think that was so important for us to see, because we've gotten bombarded with the same kind of locations before, that this was a fresh take. An Arabic land, a holy land, especially something like Jerusalem, which is a major city in Israel, and we get to visit it in the time period. And again, when I'm talking about setting, I'm even talking about the time period, the time in history that we're doing. We're getting to see Jerusalem not in modern day, but in the Third Crusade, where there's this war, this holy war between the people of the Arabic nation, which is trying to protect their homeland, and the Crusaders, also known as Templars, but the Crusaders going after it, saying that this is rightfully ours because we worship Christ. And it's this kind of conflict that you are involved with as an assassin. You go into these lands and you're getting to see these locations in this timepiece that we haven't seen before in this kind of light, and so educational. And I really struck interest in the Crusade Wars because of this game. What's even crazier is that you, as an Arabic person, are going into these lands and you are getting treated as an enemy against the Templars, against the Crusaders, and you really get to feel that tension as the player. You as the player aren't being on the side of the good side. You are being cited as an ethnic culture going into this land and protecting it for your people. And again, going back to what I was saying before, this is also an ethnic culture that we haven't really explored in video games before. I mean, even looking at this tweet from Rami Ishmael and also the little tweet from Ashraf Ismail, who's also creative director for the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I love that. Thank you, Ashraf, for accepting that job. But looking at this tweet right here, this was the first time where he could actually relate to a video game character without being the bad guy or the villain in the video game. He could actually look up to this person as a hero. So when we talk about the setting, there's so many different levels what we're talking in. Just the setting alone, just the location, the history pieces that we're getting to experience in the first-hand experience, and exploring the bazaars and seeing the way these people interacted with each other in this timepiece, but also that ethnic culture that we haven't really explored before. I think Assassin's Creed really hit the mark with this. Now, me being as not Arabic, I can't really speak from personal experience, but it really struck that interest in me. And I think this game was very important, not only in video game history, but just history in general. And later Assassin's Creed games really explored this level of historical set pieces. Not in later games. We're not going to talk about that in this video. This is about Assassin's Creed 1. But I think this is important for the video game developers at the time, that you could explore other locations, other cultures, other historical settings, and it will be fresh and unique, and you can do it. And I think that played a huge role in game development history. So yes, the setting is super cool. We can all agree with that. But what about the story, Adam? Can I learn more about the story? What about the story? I'm more into story games. Well, maybe if you just let me finish, like the last video, I'll maybe tell you about the story of Assassin's Creed. So I promise I won't be going to any kind of spoilers in this video, much like Life is Strange when I said, why is Life is Strange good? Why would I tell you Assassin's Creed is good and then spoil it for you? Because that's kind of dumb. Why would I tell you to go play a game but then spoil it for you? That's stupid. But here we are. But I will warn you, I am going to go into slight spoilers, kind of the themes of Assassin's Creed, so bear that in mind. But talking about some of the main themes in this is important to know of why this game is so good. So let's start with the main character, Altair, who's your loose cannon cop who doesn't play by the rules, and he just plays by his own rules, and oh man, he's too old to be doing this kind of detective work. Wait, he's still kind of young. I'm gonna come back to this so I don't lose my train of thought. But that's the thing, is that Altair is kind of playing by his own rules. He's not going by the creed. He's saying that I'm Altair, I've ranked up, I know what I'm doing, so I will not follow the rules. And that's what starts our story of redemption. Because the very first opening scene of Assassin's Creed, the very first one, the very first Assassin's Creed mission, you're going in and we get to see Altair break all three tenets of the Assassin's Creed. That being, stay your blade from the blood of the innocent, hide in plain sight, never compromise the Brotherhood. And yet Altair breaks these three simple tenets right in the first mission, and that's where we get started. He comes back to Masyaf. His mentor Al-Mualim takes away all of his rankings, and you have to go from the bottom up just to prove not only to Al-Mualim, your main mentor, but to your Brotherhood that you are worthy of this title of assassin. Now, sure, you could argue that this is more of like a leveling system that they kind of put in as a reason to say like, oh, you have to rank up, you have to level up. You can say that in a more gameplay kind of discussion, but in a story discussion, this was someone who had high ranks and now starts from the bottom, and now he has to work his way back up. This story of redemption to redeem himself, to say that I'm still worthy and I will prove to the Brotherhood that they can trust me. And I think this kind of goes into real life lessons that, one, we're never too far away from redemption, that no matter what we do, no matter how much we compromise our own life choices, that you are never too late for redemption. And in this game kind of proves that in the way the story is written. And it's a story of redemption that I think we can all relate to. Now, going into the modern day of Assassin's Creed, there is also another story of redemption with Desmond Miles. I'm not going to go into why he needs to redeem himself, because that is going to much more deeper spoiler territory. So I want you all to play it and just find out more of Desmond's story, because I think it's well worthwhile just to hear him out and hear his life and see why he's in this sort of chamber of laboratory with the Animus, right? But the whole game is this theme of redemption in it, and I think it's this beautiful message to tell everybody who's playing that you can redeem yourself if you work at it and if you do the right steps to get to that redemption. So I've been talking about this theme of redemption in the game of Assassin's Creed, but there's another important theme to this game's story that really changed my perspectives as someone who lives in the black and white mentality. And I want to talk about that for a little bit, talking about the gray areas of morality. So if you ever listen to Games and Groceries podcast, or even What's the Biz podcast, or other podcasts available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and iHeartRadio, you should check out What's the Biz. It's pretty sweet. But if you ever listen to those episodes, I do share a lot that I do have this sort of black and white mentality, right and wrong, or hamburgers and hot dogs. I don't know. But this is sort of like, that's the way life is. But my wife, Liz, she kind of swims in that sort of gray area. And, you know, not only this game had me learn this, but my wife also taught me a lot to swim in that gray area. But this game, Assassin's Creed, really had me tinker with my perspective of right and wrong, because this game is weaved with gray areas and talking to other people and having discussions and understanding why people do what they do. This game swims in the gray area, and you have to learn why. So again, I might be going slightly into spoiler territory here, but hear me out. I don't want to spoil too much here, but I think this theme is important to know why Assassin's Creed is so good. Altair, to show his redemption story, Al-Mualim, our mentor, he assigns Altair 9 different assassination targets, 3 in each of the 3 areas, because 3 times 3 equals 9. Not only do you get video game news here, you'll learn math too. Brilliant. But each of these 3 targets in the 3 different areas are seen in this sort of black and white mentality, as Al-Mualim puts it. This guy's the bad guy, you are the good guy, you need to kill him because there is good and evil, good and bad, hamburgers and hot dogs. That's it. So you start this game in a sort of black and white mentality that you are the good guy and they are the bad guy, because video games, right? But soon as you progress through the game, you start to see that there is indeed a gray area. There seems to be a ham dog of sorts, if that makes sense. But the really cool part about this game is that when you do go through with these assassinations, when you do slay your foe, you actually have a discussion with the victim, and they start to explain why they did what they did. Some of them seem tyrannical, some of them seem greedy, some of them seem very sadistic. But then if you hear them out, if you listen to them, if you live in the gray area, you're not defending them, but you start to understand, wait, they had a reason for it, and I can kind of get behind it. Why is that? It's because you're having this sort of discussion. You're starting to understand why people do what they do. Their methods you might not agree with, but their mentality, their motives is something that you could say, you could have done it this way, and maybe I wouldn't have assassinated you. I don't know. But that's the crazy part about this game, is that you learn other people's stories. You learn why they become tyrannical. You learn of why they seem sadistic. And it's these conversations that are pretty important to this game. And that's why I think you should take time when you do play this game. Don't just be thinking that this is a game all about parkour and hidden blades and stuff. but it's a story of redemption, but also the gray areas of morality. And again, not defending their methods at all. Can't do that. Please subscribe. But it's their motives that we really need to focus on in this game. It's a concept that took me off guard when I first played this game, but it's a lesson that started to chip away at my brain. It didn't fully cure me of my black and white mentality, because your boy still kind of lives in the black and white mentality. I'm sorry, not sorry. And started to open up conversations of why I need to be listening to people, why I need to not go straight to judgment, but to hear them out, and maybe we can help each other out to really help the world out. I can say that 3 times now. It's a game that really values perspectives. It's a game that really values discussion. It's a game that values redemption. It's a game that really values a lot of different things more than just the parkour. And the parkour is really, really good and fine-tuned, and I think that's an important part to Assassin's Creed. But these are kind of the 3 main reasons why I really loved the first Assassin's Creed, what really stuck out to me. And again, I want you to write in comments down below, what are some reasons you love the first Assassin's Creed? What are reasons that you don't like Assassin's Creed? And I want to hear all those in the comments down below. But you know how it goes around here. Let's just jump right into the conclusion. So while I won't defend Assassin's Creed being a perfect game, my favorite game of all time, it has no flaws, there is some repetitiveness. The voice acting is somewhat clunky sometimes. I'm never going to defend Assassin's Creed being the perfect game ever, because that goes to Assassin's Creed 2. Which maybe we'll get to another video. But again, I'm not going to defend it as the perfect game, but I think it's a game that has a lot of lessons to be learned, a lot of redemption, a lot of gray areas, a lot of good settings that we can learn from. And I think it was a fresh take at the time. It still holds a special place to my heart, even though it's not a perfect game. It still has that special place in my heart because it really got me thinking about perspectives of life, and it really got me thinking about maybe I should be having more discussions with people. Also, maybe I should be taking parkour lessons. I think I should do that as well. But here we are in 2020, and we have a brand new chapter in the Assassin's Creed franchise coming in holiday 2020. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's coming. And I'm not gonna make this video to tell you that you need to play the very first Assassin's Creed to understand Valhalla. I'm not trying to say that, but while we're distracted with next-gen hardware, with Valhalla being the next one, while we're focused on that, I want you to take a little bit of time and understand the value of the very first game that started it all, the very first Assassin's Creed, and how much value it puts into. And it's still backwards compatible on your Xbox One, so if you've got that, you know, I think it's definitely worth a pickup. But that's the thing, is that sure, we get distracted by the new, but let's go back to the old. Maybe you won't need to understand it, but maybe according to this little tweet, maybe you will need to understand Assassin's Creed. Who knows? I have no idea what he means by that, but I think I'm pretty hopeful to understand that this is all going to come full circle. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for watching this video. Assassin's Creed really is special to me. It's got, I don't know what it is. Well, I just told you what it is. I just got you 3 reasons, but it really does bring me back to nostalgia factor and what I was in 2007 and who I became. And it's this long journey of the Assassin's Creed franchise that, you know, it makes me look back to the old and say, what made me fall in love with the franchise in the first place? And I think it's very valuable to play this game. I think it's valuable to play a lot of older games that we're not just saying like, oh, they have clunky graphics or whatnot. Older games are still worth playing today, but I hope I convinced you enough to play the first Assassin's Creed. I think it's still well worth the value, but if I didn't, write it down below. Why didn't I convince you? I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely click that subscribe button. And if you like what you saw, you know, definitely give it a like and a share so that more people know about games and groceries. But until next time, I will be over here now. Bye.